digitalization. After a year, we have transformed ourselves into a more enhanced digital platform to bring a new experience to our audience. We are very lucky today where we continue to be able to attract esteemed speakers. I look forward to this conference. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a year since our L2 construction series that was concluded in March and April 2020 during the first MCO. Now, for those who have attended the L2 construction series, they would know that the series has actually ran for 30 days continuously, where we have invited over 40 speakers who have actually shared with us their experiences and knowledge about various topics relating to construction and digitalization. After a year, we have transformed ourselves into a more enhanced digital platform to bring a new experience to our audience. We are very lucky today where we continue to be able to attract esteemed speakers from all over the world who will be able to share their knowledge and experience ranging from construction to digitalization and also ADR to be part of this digital learning journey.
Yes, Wai Lun. Indeed, it has been an exciting journey. Look at where we are now. This is our first 3D conference. It's all real, Wai Lun. Are you
Of course.
proud?
I'm very proud of it, of course.
Okay. I think insofar as construction and digital webinars in Malaysia is concerned, I believe this is the first of its kind where webinars are conducted digitally on a 3D stage. Not only that, tonight we have invited 12 guests from Malaysia and abroad to share their knowledge and experiences on digital learning, Contech, PropTech, Legal Tech and digitalized ADR. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of L2, we welcome you to this conference and we hope that you will enjoy this new experience of 3D virtual conference brought to you by L2. I shall now pass the stage to Cindy and David, who are the directors of L2 Icon and also the co-hosts for this conference tonight.
Thank you, Wai Lun and Hong Kit. Good evening, Cindy.
Good evening, David.
I'm very excited to be here with you for our first anniversary conference this evening.
Me too. I would love to take this opportunity to launch our L2 Icons portal. Let's witness this memorable moment with us. Welcome to l2icon.org. To register as our member, open your web browser, go to l2icon.org. Click subscribe, insert your email address, your first name, last name, your mobile number, company name, position. Company address is optional. It's totally up to you whether you wish to provide. Click register, then we are done. After you register, this page will appear. A username and password will be automatically generated by the system and sent to your registered email address. After you register, this page will appear. A username and password will be automatically generated by the system and sent to your registered email address. For security reasons, you must change the system-generated password with your preferred password. Click Edit your password and account details. You can change the username that you wish. Insert the password sent by the system. Replace it with your new password. Confirm new password. Save the changes. Then we are done. Thank you for registering with l2icon.org. Bye!
Impressive indeed. Thank you to L2 team who have worked tirelessly behind the scene for making this launch possible. Both Hongkit and I are really overwhelmed and very happy to be able to finally commence on this digitalization path. Of course, we cannot walk alone to realize this digitalization dream of L2.
Yes, as much as I'm very proud of the L2 teamwork, but I agree with you totally. We cannot walk alone. That's why we have sourced a business partner to walk hand in hand with us in this exciting journey. Do you want to know who?
Who is that?
I will let him introduce himself. Andy.
I'm the CEO and business owner of Tropical Records Management. Tropical specializes in the domain of information management and record storage. Set up in 1979, for over 40 years, we've always been the entrusted custodian of our clients' asset, records, and information. We place great value in helping our client create business value with their information and deliver fit-for-purpose data and information management solution. No man is an island, especially in our pandemic world that we are in today. So for the digital transformation of the legal and arbitration industry, we need a domain expert. As an industrial leader, L2 fits this profile perfectly. I look forward to this collaboration that will place us both as the prime drivers of digital transformation in the legal and arbitration world.
May I now invite Andy, Wai Lun, and Hongkit to proceed and sign the Memorandum of Understanding between Tropical Records Management and L2 Icon. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. I'm so excited now. Okay, over to you, Andy.
All right, well done. Congratulations, guys. That was a great start to the collaboration between Tropical Records Management and L2 Icon. We hope there will be more collaborations between the two parties in the future. Once again, congratulations, guys.
What a milestone. We have finally completed L2 MOU signing with Tropical Records Management. Thank you again, Andy. But this is not all. I understand that, Wai Lun, you have entered into a strategic alliance with another law firm. Introduce us to us.
Thank you, Hongkit. Yes, apart from today's partnership with Tropical Records Management, congratulations to L2 and Tropical Records Management. I'm also pleased to announce that there is a strategic alliance between my firm, Harrow & Lam Partnership, together with Halim Hong and Quek. With the alliance, the combined legal resources, now we have 50 lawyers providing legal services from corporate conveyancing to litigation and also alternative dispute resolution services. Now we have Datuk Quek Ngee Ming, who is the managing partner of Halim Hong and Quek today, who will be talking a little bit more about the strategic alliance between our two firms. Datuk Quek, hello.
Hi, Datuk.
Thank you very much, Wai Lun and Hongkit, for having me here today. A very good day to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody have a good chance to reboot during the last MCO. Now it's time for us to connect, just as our team today, reboot and connect. On the topic of connecting, being one of the many proud moments at Halim Hong and Quek, must be having been able to step into this year, 2021, by establishing a formal and strategic alliance with Harrow & Lam Partnership. Our alliance is a serious one. The resources are joined. The heart are in common. And we have one directions. We want to combine our strengths on different area. One is on corporate real estate. The other one is on dispute resolutions. We combine our specialization together. And we offer diversified services to our clients. This strategy alliance not only bridges two very distinct firms, but also it signifies the expansions, not only in Malaysia, but also beyond the border. I feel the most valuable point in this alliance is the possibility of exchange the true heart, the true feeling of want to bring the best of everyone in Harold Lam, everyone in Halim Hong Kwek to be a true lawyer, legal service provider. And how are we going to achieve that? Technology, innovations. We'll always be reminded that we must build something new for our next generations. And we start with, right now, from our own heart. Technology can help us not only to empower ourselves, can help us to empower everybody. We have been starting to have our own legal apps to make our services more efficient. We automate legal documents. We actually also provide e-solutions on a subscription basis. And legal services can be made available at a e-platform. This pandemic has truly encouraged us all to create solutions that do not only connect and shape the industries, but also to improve the efficiency through these transformations. I hope everybody is as inspired and excited as I am at how our legal industry is taking shape during this exciting time. Thank you again for the organizer, and thank you for all of you. I see you. Thank you, Hong Kit. I have been meeting Wai Long for some time, and together with his partner, and we've been working together with quite a number of projects. And because we have known each other, or to put it the other way, we always judge a person when we first see any person's. Me too. And the way I look at the person is definitely I look at the person's eyes. And through the eyes, I can see that this is a man of righteousness. This is a man who like to bring changes to the legal industry. And more importantly, this is a man who always want to bring the best of his teammates, colleagues, and his friends. I feel that. And somehow if I can feel that he's such a person, I'm sure that he has the same feeling on me and on the people surrounding me. And this is a time that when anyone just give an idea, why don't we form an alliance, a formal and strategic alliance, without second thought. We'll go full stream ahead and bring no turning back. And true enough, we have been forming this alliance since end of last year. And we're able to share resources, share thought, having a common goal and one directions. We are truly lucky that we meet a person like Wai Long. It's just like I'm going to propose to him. But every alliance, or just like every engagement, we engage with a view to get married. And therefore, we know that there are a lot of challenges ahead. And we believe we can overcome all these challenges because we believe that the legal services must be provided with quality and with speed, rooted with integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato'. Can you share with us what are your criteria when you are looking for strategic alliance partner?
Thank you, Hong Kit. I have been meeting Wai Long for some time, and together with his partner, and we've been working together with quite a number of projects. And because we have known each other, or to put it the other way, we always judge a person when we first see any person's. Me too. And the way I look at the person is definitely I look at the person's eyes. And through the eyes, I can see that this is a man of righteousness. This is a man who like to bring changes to the legal industry. And more importantly, this is a man who always want to bring the best of his teammates, colleagues, and his friends. I feel that. And somehow if I can feel that he's such a person, I'm sure that he has the same feeling on me and on the people surrounding me. And this is a time that when anyone just give an idea, why don't we form an alliance, a formal and strategic alliance, without second thought. We'll go full stream ahead and with no turning back. And true enough, we have been forming this alliance since end of last year. And we're able to share resources, share thought, having a common goal and one directions. We are truly lucky that we meet a person like Wai Long. It's just like I'm going to propose to him. But every alliance, or just like every engagement, we engage with a view to get married. And therefore, we know that there are a lot of challenges ahead. And we believe we can overcome all these challenges because we believe that the legal services must be provided with quality and with speed, rooted with integrity. Thank you.
There was a very interesting sharing from you, Dato', especially about Wai Long's eyes. Dato', thank you again. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Good night. See you. Bye.
Bye, Dato'.
All right, Cindy, who do we have next?
Okay, let us welcome Andy Hewitt, the founder and principal of Claims Class. He's dialing in from Dubai. Over to you, Hong Kit and Wai Lun.
Hello, Andy.
How are you, Andy?
Yeah, very good. I hope everybody there's okay. And may I just say how delighted I am to be joining your conference.
Andy, one of the things that puts off people from digital learning is that digital learning lacks human interaction. Claims Class being a professional training provider since 2012, can you share with us how Claims Class managed this?
Yeah, for sure. One of our goals, really, I mean, we started off by doing workshop type training where we fill a room with people, a presenter engages with those people. We get them doing group assignments, and that is a very engaging form of training. And really, we can't beat that. But we did find that we couldn't take our training to different parts of the world, and we were getting inquiries that it wasn't possible for someone to travel to London or Singapore or Johannesburg or Dubai or wherever we held these training workshops. So we came up with the idea back in 2012 that we should be able to offer people online training. And one of the things that we were very, very keen on is supporting the student throughout the course. Our research was showing us that many people that sign up for this sort of distance learning course, probably, I think it's either, I can't remember, 40 or 60% of them never finish the course. And we didn't want that for some more people that had paid to go on our courses. We want everyone to graduate. So one of the things that we are very, very keen on, and we've developed this, is that each student is allocated a personal tutor. And that tutor stays with them from day one until they complete the course and they get their graduation certificate. And we have a very supportive, proactive role for the tutors. So, and we have a system where if we don't hear from a student, they've not submitted assignments, or they've not requested the release of the next module, or they've not started the course or whatever, our system clicks in, and that's a reminder for the student, the tutor, to contact the student and say, hey, how are you doing? You know, what's happening? How are you getting on with your assignments? Do you need any advice? I'm here to help you. And we encourage right from day one that it's a very interactive thing with the student. So students know that they can reach out to the student at any time. You know, I'm struggling, I don't really understand this assignment, and we can answer many questions and queries by email, or we can arrange a Skype call to give advice or to do a post-mortem on assignments that have been submitted and graded. So we are very, very proactive about this, and we try to give the maximum support possible when people are working at a distance. And it works because feedback from students who've completed the courses is consistently that the tutor support is very, very high on the list of things they value from Claims Class courses.
Hi Andy, I have another question for you. There are many different online courses being offered today. What would be your advice for companies who are considering sending their employees for digital learning?
Yeah, well, maybe I can answer that. Not just for companies. We do get companies that will put several people through a training course, and we'll run a training course specifically for that group of people. But a lot of our customers, if you like, are people who are wanting to learn themselves, to enhance the learning, to enhance the career prospects. So these are self-funded people, or they may be people who are sponsored by the company, but they come through not as a group, but as an individual. So whether you are a company or a person looking for a training course, I would say the first thing is look at the track record of the company that you're considering. Nowadays, when so many people are now comfortable or more comfortable with webinars, and you know, with the new normal now is not to sit in a room but do this sort of thing. A lot of companies seem to have jumped on the bandwagon, and they think that providing training courses is an easy way to make money. Well, you need to check that it's not just a get-rich quick company, but it's companies that have been doing it for some time, and they've got a demonstrable track record in providing training courses. Number two is look at the tutor or the presenter, their experience and qualifications. Do they know the subject? I think that's a fairly much of a given, but what goes with that is it's not only good enough to have somebody who knows the subject. We've all been to conferences and seminars where you've got an expert that stands up on a podium and talks to people, and immediately the people fall asleep or go to the bathroom because the person's got no presentation skills. So it's important that the tutors, the presenters, not only know their subject inside out, upside down and backward, but they can impart that knowledge because this is a training course. So tutor training skills is very important. And finally, we want to make sure that you're spending your money wisely as a company or as an individual. So I would say the best way to find out whether a company is doing the job correctly and providing value for money is to ask for references. And I'm not talking about, Joe Bloggs said it was a really good course, but ask for the contact details for students who've been through the course. Make the contact and ask them what they thought about the course. We are more than happy to do that because the feedback from our students consistently said they've learnt a lot from the course, they've gained value from the course, and they are putting the lessons learned into practice in their day-to-day jobs. So that's my advice when selecting a training provider.
Well, Andy, that was impressive. Andy, would you fancy a chance to visit Malaysia if there is an enquiry for your class physically?
I'd be more than happy to visit Malaysia and put together a workshop. I actually love doing workshops. I love being, I suppose, I'm a frustrated rock guitarist, and I enjoy being on stage and I enjoy working live with people, but it is not always possible. If we can put enough people together to make a live workshop in Kuala Lumpur or anywhere else in Malaysia, I'll be the first one queuing up to get a ticket to come and visit you guys. So it's a few years since I've been to that part of the world, so COVID permitting, we'll be able to do it before too long. So thank you.
That's a date, Andy.
Thank you, Andy, for tuning in. Bye-bye.
I'll definitely look forward to that, and thank you once again for inviting me to what I'm sure is being a very successful conference. So thank you very much.
Let's welcome our next guest, who is calling all the way from New Zealand, Dr. Nasim Amir Ali.
Hello, Dr. Nasim.
I'm going to go straight to the point, Dr. Nasim, so that you have more time to talk. We know you are a strong advocate for plain language. Please share with us your thought about plain language role in digital learning.
Hi, Hong Kit and Wai Lun. Good to see you again after, nearly 1 year now. Okay, where do I start about plain language in digital learning? Let me just start by just sharing with you what do we mean by digital learning and online platform and so on. Now, just very quickly, just to share with you my experience of lecturing at Massey University in New Zealand. Well, we used to have face-to-face lectures. We now have, when there's no lockdown, we do have face-to-face lectures, but in addition, we also have lectures which are captured live on Zoom. My students internationally, for instance, whether they're in India, in China, or in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, or even in the UK, for instance, they will attend the live session via Zoom live. I know it might not suit them, but the huge benefit of this is this. If they choose not to, the whole session is recorded anyway. And not only is it recorded, the transcriptions come through very clearly from a Zoom session, for instance. And later on, they can listen to it in their own time, they can replay it, and they can even scroll down to the actual transcripts of any particular word they wanted to look at. For instance, I might have used the word reasonable skill and care. They can zoom straight to it, and you'll go to the video at that time. So that is a very useful function in the digital platform that we're using now, irrespective of whether we're in lockdown or not. Now, coming back to your question about the use of plain language in a digital environment, in an international digital environment, can I start by persuading everyone here to please distinguish the concept of initialism and acronyms. Acronyms are, for instance, NASA is an acronym, but an initialism is like, for instance, MU. What is MU? If I ask the people in New Zealand, all of them will say, MU? That is Massey University. Yeah, but to the rest of the world, whether in the UK, who are football fanatics, or even in Malaysia, for instance, what is MU? It's Manchester United. They don't know about Massey University. So when we talk about initialism, we must always clarify, what do we mean? Make it clear so that people can move on and understand it. I'll give you another example in the academic context. At Massey University and University of Auckland and Victoria University, for instance, whenever we talk about subjects, we call it a course. So 1 course, 2 course, 3 course, and 24 or 36 courses make up a degree or a qualification. Other universities might call it a paper, for instance, AUT. But in the rest of the world, some call it a module, some call it a subject, some call it a unit, and so on. So clarify upfront, what are we talking about? Some refer to the word course as a whole qualification. Others refer to course as a subject or a unit, like an 8-course Chinese meal. So 8 courses make up dinner. So 24 courses make up the qualification, for instance. So we need to clarify upfront in an international audience what we're talking about. Don't assume that people will know what is MU or what a course is or what a subject is, and so on. Now, moving on, something a bit more specific, close to my heart, is the use of plain language in terminology, in legal terminology, for instance. We all, those of us who are familiar with construction law, know that in the arbitration world, in more than 100 jurisdictions around the world, 100 countries around the world, whenever we talk about the final outcome of an arbitration, we call an arbitrator's award. Arbitrator's award, whichever country around the world. But when it comes to this new concept called adjudication, legislated adjudication in currently 14 jurisdictions around the world, the terminology used is different. Example, in New South Wales and in Victoria and in Singapore, they call it adjudicator's determination, referring to a judgment or rather a decision of the adjudicator. Even in New Zealand, that is the case. In the UK, they call it a decision, adjudicator's decision. Likewise, in Queensland, adjudicator's decision. Luckily, we managed to convince the drafters in Malaysia to call it adjudicator's decision. Now, so decision or determination in all these 14 jurisdictions basically are referring to the same thing, the outcome of an adjudicator's decision, actually, but they call it determination sometimes. If only everybody could speak the same language. It's too late now. We can't get legislative drafters to change it. But hopefully, in the remaining countries, apart from the 14 jurisdictions, hopefully they can be persuaded to be consistent and use terminology like decision, which is plainer than determination, which is 5 syllables, and make it consistent like how arbitration is, arbitrator's award. I'll give you 1 or 2 other examples in the choice of words. Words like whereas, hereinbefore, null and void, for instance. The word null and void, this is a redundant doublet because of the historical colonial era where you have English and French, for instance, in Canada, for instance. So these are all redundant doublets. You don't have to repeat them. Just say that provision is void. That's it. Pay when paid clauses in contracts are void. That's good enough. You don't have to say null and void. So all these redundant legalese and doublets like whereas, hereinbefore, hereinafter, if only they can be eliminated, it makes life a lot easier, especially in countries where English might not be necessarily the first language. And I'll finish off with 1 other last example, which is again a passion of mine. Whenever we use the word shall, everybody assumes that means the mandatory must. But what does must mean? Must also means the mandatory must. But unknown to many, even many lawyers, must has been construed to even mean the optional may. The present tense must, for instance. And according to Professor Peter Butt, a emeritus law professor in Sydney, as well as Judge Mark Painter, the word shall has got at least 8 different meanings. Surely, it makes better sense to use one word consistently to mean one thing. So if you mean must, say must. If you mean the optional may, use may. There's enough case law to demonstrate what I've just said. But all I would say at this point is my appeal to everyone around the world is try and unify our language when we're talking about legal language into a single uniform language called modern plain legal language, whether that's in plain legal English or plain legal French or plain legal Bahasa Malaysia use plain language. That would be a good step in enhancing and promoting consistency in understanding amongst an international audience in the modern era of digitalization. Over to you, Hongkit and Wailun.
Thank you, Dr. Nasim. We look forward to seeing you back in Malaysia again.
I hope so too, and let's hope the borders open up so that I can fly back to Malaysia and have some nice, I don't know, roti canai or something. Thank you.
Let's welcome our next guest, Mr. Bert De Monk, the president of Lighthouse Club Kuala Lumpur.
Hi, good evening, Bert.
How are you, Bert?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you.
Bert, we understand that the Lighthouse Club Kuala Lumpur has established a student loan fund at TAR UC. Tell us, who will qualify for this interest-free loan?
Yes, I can. We established a student loan fund of 500,000 ringgit at TAR UC. And there are 3 groups of underprivileged students who are eligible to apply for the student loan. So the first group are underprivileged students who come from an underprivileged background where the household income is not more than 3,000 ringgit per month. They can apply for construction-related studies, diploma or degree, and the studies are architecture, quantity surveying, construction management, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering. The second group is underprivileged students who are from a poverty-stricken background as a result of the death, injury, or illness of the parent or guardian. They can apply for the same studies. Then there is a third group, and the third group is quite similar to the second group, but in addition to that these students are underprivileged as a result of death, injury, or illness of their parent or guardian, their parent or guardian worked in the construction industry before. And if that's the situation, they can apply for all the studies available within TAR UC. And that hopefully creates a good platform, especially in these difficult situations, for the students to get an opportunity to follow and pursue their diploma or degree.
That's great news. A big congratulations to the Lighthouse Club Kuala Lumpur for successfully setting up the Student Loan Fund. Besides the Student Loan Funds, what are the Lighthouse Club's plans for the future?
Yes, we will also continue to support students in the bursary program, which is organized by Master Builders Association Malaysia. So these bursary students, it's not a loan, it's a study, they don't have to pay it back, but they need to get a general higher grades. So only here are also underprivileged Malaysian students eligible for such a study. The second one is that we have continued to focus and promote health and safety, because unfortunately in Malaysia there's still a lot of work to do with regards to the improvement of health and safety on construction sites. The third one is that we have a caring and sharing program which was set up last year at the start of COVID-19, where we help construction workers with a food program or anybody else who needs help as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak. We can only do that if we raise more funds and we get more members and get more exposure. So we hopefully can grow our base with members, and we still rely on donations and sponsors for our events to be able to continue these kind of charitable assistance. So that will be the main focus for the upcoming period. And I should not forget to mention that we are, of course, a social organization, social club. And we are very happy if after all the SOPs, we can also have like social events again and meet people from the industry.
Thank you very much, Bert, for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Bert. We look forward to seeing more good works from Lighthouse Club KL. Good night.
My pleasure, and thank you as well.
Let us invite Elizabeth Siu and Dr. Daniel Gambaro, the President and Vice President of Malaysian PropTech Association.
Good evening, Elizabeth and Dr. Daniel.
Welcome to L2 conference. Thank you for tuning in this evening.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, Elizabeth and Daniel, I will pose the first question for both of you tonight. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the way the legal property industries usually function and the way they do business. In your opinion, how would technology help in these challenging times? I would have Elizabeth to speak first, to be followed by Dr. Daniel. Elizabeth?
Okay, Shirley, thank you. Well, you see, with the pandemic and movement restrictions, so we are looking at within the states itself, between states to state, as well as between countries. So when it happened last year, so the entire real estate industries that is basically very physical based. We were all like in a way in a standstill situation. But luckily, prior to the pandemic, some of the real estate professionals were already practicing virtual viewing, and they were doing electronic booking, online booking, and sales system. So in terms of the sales process, it was not such a big hindrance because people could still view and still could make booking and payment gateway online. The problem that they faced last year was the fulfillment of the sales, which is contract. All right, pending down a contract, meeting the parties, because law firms were not working, lawyers not working, and also the customers and the sales staff, they are not able to meet face to face. Now, in terms of landlord tenant, it was the same situation, right? You have an agent close the tenancy. However, landlord tenant were unable to meet the agent to sign the tenancy agreement, and to therefore no keys were being handed over. So even I want to move in, I can't because I have not signed the tenancy. So since last year March, there were a lot of lot of interest in e-contract and e-signing, and people need to resort to consummating their contract virtually online in order to fulfill the transactions, in order to move on. So that is where we come into the picture, e-contract and e-signing.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Dr. Daniel, do you have any view about what Elizabeth has just said?
Yep, definitely. I couldn't agree more with Elizabeth, the president of our Malaysian PropTech Association, on what she said. Virtual reality, virtual journey of property buyers was already slowly happening in 2019. In 2020, there has been a huge adoption of PropTech solutions, such as ProSales, for instance, a end-to-end property system, which allows buyers to go from booking and seeing a unit till placing the actual payment and confirming the purchase. But at that point, we were there blocked by the need of a physical connection between who sells, who buys, and the agent, the developer, or the intermediary somehow. Lawyers had to come physically to meet, and that was not possible because of MCO. So, honestly, I have been looking at the pandemic and the disruption of all businesses somehow as a positive push, a positive fire, which has been bringing Malaysia to a totally different speed of adoption of digitalization. And the property market has been one of the industries adopting the most and keep on adopting nowadays. We keep on receiving inquiries from developers asking, how can we help? Can you please give us as Malaysian PropTech Association a introduction about this PropTech. What is PropTech? Banks are approaching us. Please come and explain to us how PropTech is helping, which means the world has been finally discovering, this is not only for Malaysia, it's worldwide. The world has been finally discovering that technology applied to property makes the property buying and the property renting journey a walk in a digital park. So positive at all, absolutely.
Can you tell us more about your software? Elizabeth, is your e-signing software legally binding?
Very good questions. In fact, this is a question that I get 100% of the time. In Malaysia, the law in terms of governing electronic signature and electronic contract is actually very matured and really in place. In fact, in 1997, we already had a Digital Signature Act back in 1997. That was part of the MSC movement of Malaysia. Then in 2005, we had a Electronic Commerce Act. And under the Electronic Commerce Act, all commercial contracts can be in electronic form. And it can be electronically signed and be given legal effect. All right? Now, however, having said that, that is legally signing an e-contract online, meaning you can use a mobile phone, you can use an iPad or your laptop to sign or to draw a signature or to type a signature. That is called e-signature. It is legal. However, it is legally signed doesn't mean it can be admissible in court, because these are two different things. For admissibility in court, we have to look at Evidence Act. That means you need to fulfill the trail of evidence to prove that that is the person that was signing at that material time. And after he signed the contract, that soft copy of the contract is immutable. No one can go in and do something to the soft copy. Like now we have a lot of software, we can do magic. Even PDF document, after you sign on the Adobe, you can add on things, no problem. The signature is still there, right? But you must know how to go behind the scene to capture the system trail to know all this, right? So as far as we are concerned, because our system are not just built by IT person, our system are built by lawyer. So we basically need to have a lot of evidence going to court, admissibility. We are putting all this trail to build up our case in court, and we put all this into a system so that the system is capturing all the evidence. Eventually, all these are going to be used as evidence in court. So that will complete the whole journey. Otherwise, if you sign something which you cannot use it in court, what is the point of signing it? So, right. So that is in a nutshell. In a nutshell, that is what you need to do. Now, last year as well, in June, Bank Negara has issued a guideline last year, June, to say that everything is going virtual, right? In order to do virtual, like for example, opening bank account virtually, right? Bank transaction virtually, contracts. We need to look at three-factor authentication, meaning we need to firstly verify the person identity, okay? Who the person is, what the person has, like for example, passport or IC, and what does he know, meaning like PIN number, meaning like secret questions, things that only he knows. So you combine all three factors together, that will be able to build very, very strong evidence for electronic signing and for legal admissibility.
Interesting. Thank you, Elizabeth. Daniel, what about you? What have you got to offer here?
Well, my Propernomic.com is offering a predictive modeling based on algorithmic predictions of property demand in terms of location, quantity, size, and values, which is helping developers in being able to deliver what the market really wants. What I would like to do is also to promote all our more than 50 members of the Malaysian PropTech Association, of which I'm Deputy President, who are offering unbelievable solution for a primary market purchasing journey seamless and totally virtual, such as ProSales, which goes from looking at the free unit, choosing the right one, going for a walkthrough inside it, and so on, till delivery of keys and the fact management. Then we have several of our members who are offering this type of solution. ProSales is one of them. Then we have other applications such as ServDeck Properly or T+, for instance, or BlueDuck, who are offering tenant management system, who are offering full building, commercial building, retail places management. And finally, we have also a solution quite innovative in rental bidding, which is going to introduce into the market quite soon, probably by the end of March or early April, a totally transparent, a highly trustable platform to complete the tenant journey. Much more. Please visit our website and have a look at our members, www.proptech.org.my. See you soon.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Daniel.
And goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having us.
Let's welcome our next guest, Ms. Teo Pui Man, the founder of SpeedBrick, and Mr. Oliver Roche, the founder of Proficient Solutions Software.
Good evening, Oliver and Pui Man. My first question to both of you is this. It is well known in the construction industry that the people are quite conservative, and there is this resistance of change which is holding back the digital transformation process in the construction industry. As proven construction software providers, can you share with us your plans in overcoming this challenge? Oliver, can I have you speak first?
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, I think we need to understand why digital adoption is such a challenge for our industry. And I think one of the primary factors of why, I guess, digital is being adopted in the West, first and foremost, because obviously the West has taken a lead in a lot of this digital adoption, is because the cost of labor is very, 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 very expensive. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing an equal take-up, say, in Asia, Malaysia, Southeast Asia, or Asia, because obviously the cost of labor is much less. So I think that that's actually, an awful lot of technical adoption has been driven by costs and the need to adopt because of, they want to make things more cost effective or streamlined. And, when we're trying to pitch Proficient, we constantly get asked how can they financially benefit from the application of that software on their projects. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges, trying to convince clients that they will have a return on investment by going digital, and that that this is the way that the whole world is going, and it shouldn't be just looking at the cost of labor, etc. So I think these are some of the key challenges. Is can clients see a return on the investment from going digital? And I think obviously COVID has expedited that, in my opinion, and we're seeing a lot of traction on the digital side purely because of COVID, which I think is probably the same for all industries in the whole world.
I think change is I agree with Oliver, and change is the only constant. I have one question for contractors. Can you continue to do business in a digital world using a traditional method? If the answer is no, I have 3 tips for you. Number 1, identify the area to change. This area must cost you a lot of money today. The area most of my clients identify is at the area of material management and labor management. And number 2, if you decide you want to go digital, you have to look for a good tool, a good digital tool. So a tool that your employee will use without you forcing them to use it. And number 3, after your users use this tool, you want to have an automated reporting. And SpeedBrick per se, what we actually did is that we are being described as a one-touch system. Our oldest user is 71-year-old uncle. And the best part is the reports are automated without the need of data entry. And just now, Oliver mentioned that that return of investment is important. Directors, when you have real-time reporting, you would be able to catch all kind of mistakes, and this is how you prevent mistakes from happening. And I think this is how SpeedBrick is doing and helping contractors to go digital in Malaysia. That's my take on this thing.
Yeah, if I may just come back on a couple of bits there, and I absolutely agree with everything that Puy Mun has said. That obviously being able to produce reports is extremely, extremely important, and to utilize the data that you're storing on the cloud that you're using. Puy Mun mentioned about contractors, which are her primary target audience or primary target clients. Ours are actually developers and the primary stakeholders. But the end result is the same, is that we can translate the data that we're storing into reports, with the touch of a button. And I think that's really where the real benefits come in, where, we're trying to convince, and it's not easy, trying to convince our clients that, look, you don't need as many people as what you needed before, and the people can be way more efficient by going digital, because we're digitizing everything, the forms, inspection forms, et cetera, everything. And then all of the reports are all auto-generated, which is, very, very similar to what Puy Mun is talking about. But, she's doing it for contractors and we're doing it for developers, to try and get everybody in the whole project all online. So, but the outcome is the same. The outcome is the same, which is going digital.
Oliver, Puy Mun, the pandemic has really escalated digital transformation in all industries. There are already many construction software available, and I'm sure there are more to come. Tell us how SpeedBrick and Proficient managed to stand out among the rest.
Sorry, what was that again, Ankit? Sorry.
Sure, Oliver. Tell us how Proficient managed to stand out among the rest.
Okay, the key difference between what our product does versus every other product in the world, actually, and we are the first product, a Malaysian product, Malaysian made, Malaysian founded, where we're genuinely trying to disrupt the industry from the top down. When I say from the top down, it's from developer down to everybody else in the project. And the reason why we're doing that is because there's so many softwares that are working in silos. You've got your scheduling software that's working in a particular silo that's separate. You'll have potentially maybe a document control software that's working in a particular silo. You'll have a cost and contracts module that's working in another silo, and you might have field, and you can go on and on and on. So our solution is actually an umbrella product that's bringing all of those silos together under one platform, so everybody and all that data can be in one location, and our clients can have access to that data. And we, from what I understand, we're the first in the world that will actually be doing that. So our base product is out in the market at the moment, which is field and document controls and meeting minute modules and reports. And we're adding schedule to that, a scheduling module where we're going to be doing a push and pull with Microsoft Project and Primavera so that it'll be live updates to the schedule from our platform. And I believe we'll be the first in the world to do that. And we'll be adding cost and contracts later on this year. So it's a complete end-to-end solution for developers, primary stakeholders, be they government agencies, et cetera, to have all information all in one place where everybody communicates on that platform. And we will be, from what I know, if you find another one that's trying to do something similar, please let me know. But from what I know, we will be the first in the world.
Puy Mun, what's your take here?
Oliver comes from a top-down approach. In SpeedBrick, we take an entirely different approach. We believe that contractors are the one responsible on making sure our buildings stand. And inside a construction companies, there are many different departments, and each departments are also working in silo. What SpeedBrick does is that we bridge this silo within a construction companies. And the best thing about SpeedBrick is that we personalize according to a user's position in a construction company. Every users in SpeedBrick see different things. For instance, a site supervisor, when they log on to SpeedBrick, they will see only two buttons. One button for them to order material, one button for them to inform that material has already arrived. As compared to a director, when they log on, they will be able to see reports, a real-time report. Apart from being personalized, each and every our reports is automated without double entry or triple entry. There is no double work in churning out the report. Reports are automatically produced by the system. In other words, you don't have to do data entry. And the best part about this report is that the director or respective users can drill down into the raw data, meaning you can see how this report is being generated in real time. Apart from that, if a contractor decided to come on board with SpeedBreak, we do a measurement, because in the end of the day, it's about return of investment. How much are you putting in, and it's how much are you getting back? So this measurement actually measure before a contractor's hop on board with SpeedBreak and after a contractor hop on board with SpeedBreak. What are the difference? Most of our clients see significant return of investment. For example, one of our clients recently see 89% improvement in productivity, and 97% of this particular company's employee is more accountable after 1 month of using SpeedBreak. The best part is 36% of the users in this company is using SpeedBreak after working hours. Their favorite day to work is on a Sunday. And this is instant return of investment where contractors can never see before using SpeedBreak. And I'm very proud of how we are doing. And another major thing about SpeedBreak is that we do constant upgrade. We listen to our contractors. We listen to contractors' pain point. We constantly, we are expanding our investment in our R&D. We listen to the pain that you are facing, and we improve the product based on your feedback. And the best part is, these improvements are all free. That is how SpeedBreak is able to speed up so fast and become the very good constructions management app for contractors in Malaysia right now. Thanks. Back to you, Hong Kit.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Pui Man. I can see different approach, different target market, same goal to help the construction industry. Once again, thank you, SpeedBreak. Thank you, Proficient.
Good night.
Thanks, Hong Kit. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Hong Kit. Thank you so much. Bye.
Let us invite Isaac, the chairman of CABE Malaysia chapter.
Good evening, Isaac.
Welcome to L2 conference. I hope you are keeping well, Isaac.
Hi, Hong Kit. Thank you. I'm fine, actually. I'm actually very pleased that you invited me and to say something on this conference that you have been holding during the COVID periods and the initial MCO. So I'm very glad to be here.
Isaac, could you please share with us about CABE annual conference happening next month?
Sure. What the conference is professional excellence, the theme of it, and this is an annual event, and this is the 4th time that we are actually doing the conference. The only difference is this time around we are doing on an online platform, totally digital online platform, thanks to Hong Kit and his team of people. Otherwise, we won't be even here. But I think this is the way forward under the current circumstances in because of COVID and etc. So I think also that the people are also very excited. Even my headquarters in UK, because they themselves haven't done it. So this is something that they will be following Malaysia and from our pitfalls and whatnot. So it's a 2-day conference. It's to be held in April 16 to 17. The first day is, of course, industry experts. Second day will be academic papers. And also the second day is the first time that we are actually trying it out. Previously, it was always a 1-day session. So this time, I think the academics, which are in the University Science Malaysia in Penang, University Kebangsaan Malaysia in Bangi, and then of course which is in Kuala Lumpur. So this is actually to encourage people, or what called the students themselves, to actually have a starting point that is because you can study all the academic part in the university, but the real world you don't know. It is better for them to get used to the real world and the understanding part of it through attending some of these conferences, and interacting. However, because of the online, I think the personal interaction it lacks. But on the other hand, I think it's more accessible and friendly to the current generation of people.
Thank you, Isaac. Actually, we would like to know what actually prompted you in bringing the CABE conference online. Would you like to share with us?
Okay, I think that the simplest, straightforward answer is because of the COVID-19 and the current MCO, and also because MCO and the release of it is very uncertain. So far, for every 2 weeks, as many of us have experienced, 2 weeks keeps on extending almost 1 year. So we really don't have the choice, but it's also pleasant to us because it gives us the opportunity to test the platform, which we normally probably might not even attempt to, because the previous conferences were all quite successful. People were happy, and it was a good social event. So to bring it on, of course, that is one. The other thing is that we are very concerned, CAB, that we like the younger people, the younger generation, to enter the profession early rather than later in life. So we like them to, from graduation or even during the time of their studies, to know what is CAB and to network with our experts and other members of the built environment. So I would think that it is actually beneficial to have it, although we lack the physical contact and all that, but it is still it's a good way to move lah, and I think this will be the future. Yeah.
Once again, thank you, Isaac, for tuning in.
Thank you, Isaac. We look forward to seeing you at your conference. We wish your conference every success.
Thank you, Hongkit. Thank you, Lam. And see you guys on the 16th and 17th of April. Thank you.
Let's welcome our next guest, who is also a good friend from Russia, Ms. Tatiana Poleshikova.
Hi, Tatiana.
Hi, Tatiana. Thank you for taking time tuning in from Russia. I hope you are keeping well. I can see the bright sunlight at your side there.
Good afternoon, Wailun and Hongkit. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be part of this annual event.
Tanya, you see, the pandemic has restricted movement around the world. Arbitral institutions have been under huge pressure to continue operating. How effective has technology reduced the impact for international arbitration?
You're absolutely right. A lot of institutions have been affected and continue to be affected by the pandemic. However, we also need to acknowledge that many arbitral institutions have started to digitalize their services very long time ago. And we can easily see it from the services they were publicly advertising on their institutional websites. Therefore, the pandemic has affected such institutions a bit less than those who were not prepared for such significant changes and didn't have digital solutions in place by February or March 2020. Overall, yes, the pandemic put great pressure on the arbitration community, and many of us had to struggle and find quick solutions on how to reduce costs, how to improve efficiency of arbitral proceedings, how to find available platforms and which platforms will work in a certain case, and how to make parties and their representatives happy, because a lot of solutions are being created on a case-by-case basis by institutions. And while digital submissions and remote hearings are not new to international arbitration, the current pandemic has accelerated digitalization of arbitration proceedings. And we can see the number of protocols many institutions released last year. So I believe that, yes, we all were challenged. by the pandemic. However, it also resulted in the expansion of services to be provided by arbitral institutions.
Tatiana, I totally agree with you that the impact of the pandemic had accelerated the digital transformation of arbitral institutions. Can you share with us what are the things arbitral institutions should look into to be more digitally enhanced?
Well, users of ADR services and their representatives always look for available solutions. No one wants to spend time reinventing the wheel. And therefore, the more simple, but at the same time, the more sophisticated the proposed solution is, the more users will be attracted by it. And there is always word of mouth within the ADR community. Therefore, if end users and their representatives are satisfied with the quality of digital solutions provided by an institution, they will definitely come back and share their positive experience within their professional networks. In my view, now in 2021, there are two major concerns to be addressed by the institutions. First of all, it is of paramount importance to have specialists focusing specifically on virtual proceedings. Those who are not only familiar with a variety of available virtual platforms, but also those who can easily propose digital solutions on a case-by-case basis. And secondly, we live in the era of when cybersecurity becomes a major concern, and confidentiality of arbitral proceedings is not an exception. We all know the PCA's website was hacked during an ongoing maritime board dispute back in 2015. And since then, the arbitration community has started paying more attention to the confidentiality of arbitral proceedings. And as we can see, for instance, from the results of 2018 Queen Mary International Arbitration Survey, majority of respondents listed, and I quote, security of electronic communications and information, end quote, as an issue which should be addressed in arbitration rules. This demonstrates that users of arbitration are seriously concerned about data security. And we must acknowledge that international arbitration community also makes significant efforts to address this problem. One of the best examples would be last year's protocol released by ICA along with the New York City Bar Association and CPR. And that protocol also proposes certain solutions for arbitral institutions.
Thank you, Tatiana. Very good to see you tonight. I hope we can actually meet again in Malaysia very soon.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon too.
Our final guest of tonight needs no introduction. Let us welcome Ms. Tan Sui Im.
Good evening, Swim.
Hi, Swim.
Hi, guys. Thank you very much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be a part of this event. Quite a milestone, a year on from lockdown and the start of L2.
Hi Swim, I understand that you have been doing a lot of arbitrations, sitting as arbitrator. Can you share with us your experience on virtual hearing for arbitration?
I have actually been quite fortunate, and I have actually had the experience of virtual hearing and talk about a pivot to something that's completely different. So I was in the middle of some oral hearings in Sarawak, and it was actually just a day before the MCO that I managed to rush back from Kuching. And in order to complete that hearing, we went virtual. And this was really quite commendable because nobody had expected it, nobody had prepared for it. Nevertheless, we ended up doing several hearing days with witnesses, examination of witnesses, and we were one of the first few, in fact, I think we may have been the first full virtual hearing that was hosted by the AIAC. So it turned out to be a very illuminating experience, a good experience, but certainly a learning one. From there, we went on to have another hearing. It was a different arbitration. Parties, as well as the witnesses, the lawyers, everybody was down in Singapore, and I was the only one stuck in Kuala Lumpur. So this was what today would be considered a hybrid hearing. They were all together in one conference room, and I was zooming in to that conference room in Singapore, and it felt a little bit strange because You know, sometimes when I've got my video off and my sound on mute, but I'm up there on the screen, on the wall. And then if I switch it on, suddenly I'm there, boom, in the room. So it felt a bit like Big Brother. So these are the sort of things that I've had the privilege of experiencing. Obviously, things like meetings and preliminary hearings, but these were actual hearings with witnesses.
Sweet. Digitalization is a very broad term, and with today's technology, we have many ways to go digital. What would be your advice to arbitrators who are considering going digital?
Guys, we can't consider going digital. We have to go digital. We have no choice. And I think that this particular year has taught us that, firstly, and it's made us accept it so much quicker. So what does going digital mean for me? Well, first and foremost, as an arbitrator, efficiency and accuracy are very, very important issues. Now, how do you deal with that in a digitalized form? First of all, in the case of myself, I deal a lot with construction industry arbitrations, and they tend to be document heavy. So, for example, right now I've got one arbitration. We've got something like 946 bundles, and each bundle is about an inch thick. So you're talking about several hundred pages. To me, it requires a lot of preparation right at the beginning, which is that these documents have to be put into bundles. They have to be paginated. Yes, they've got to be scanned into PDF form and saved on some form of cloud server that is accessible by all, so that everybody is accessing the same set of documents. But that's just the start of it. Everybody seems to think that that is digitalization. For me, that's not, because navigating your way through these documents is a big nightmare. So as an example, we need to bookmark those documents. So if you're looking for letter number 15, you can actually go to the bookmark and boom, it'll go straight to letter number 15. That's one way of dealing with it. Filtering, perhaps by date, by sender, by recipient. These are all things that should be done to make life easier for everybody. Again, efficiency and accuracy. But in construction arbitrations, you also have things like drawings, which are large pieces of paper. How you deal with that is something that is yet to be seen for me. Of course, you can share a screen and project that drawing, but what more you can do with it is something that I haven't seen yet, and I'm happy to learn about that. When you get to the actual hearing itself, trying to find a document is one thing. Trying to find a particular page and the particular paragraph is another thing. So these are the sort of things which, as I said, efficiency and accuracy is very important. And there is a big movement now for greener arbitrations, which I'm totally in favor of, because 946 bundles, I've been a lawyer for a long time myself in construction arbitrations. The tendency is to put in more than less, just in case. But in terms of what's actually referred to, perhaps it's only a fraction of what has been put in. So digitalization in this manner, by deep diving more into the actual details of what is needed and what we should be doing, that is something I believe that needs to be taken more into consideration by people who use the word digitalization. So that's my take on that.
Thank you, Swim, for sharing your views as arbitrator to us. I'm sure a lot of arbitrators will find it very useful and invaluable. Good night, Swim. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. And see you later.
Thank you very much. That brings to the end of this L2 virtual conference. Thank you very much to our audience, our guest speakers, our business partners, and our sponsors who have been with us today as part of L2 virtual conference. We are very delighted to have you with us and are looking forward to seeing you again in the near future.
Yes, we are really proud to have completed our first virtual conference, and it has been a tremendous event so far. When the situation permits, we would definitely want to hold a physical one, right, Wai Lun? Yeah. So, thank you. I will now pass the stage to Cindy and David.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending a wonderful evening with us. Remember to subscribe as our member at l2icon.org and follow us on our Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
That's right. And don't forget to join us at Clubhouse right after this event. We'll be at Clubhouse and look for us at L2 Icon post-conference networking session. We'll be there to see you right after this. I am David.
And I'm Cindy. We are L2 Icon. Bye-bye.